Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with the Our Holistic Healer. I am back with another prophetic message. I basically just want to let you guys know that another message came through this morning. Another message came through this morning, and I find it so funny because this morning when I was writing down the message so that I can do a video on it later, I had started noticing a pattern here because it seemed like to me there was a whole thing going on that has been taking place like within the last week or two, or last week and a half. And what I had noticed was I had did a message on forgiveness, and I had did a message on people being showed being empathetic towards women, some men being empathetic towards some women, being humbled. I did a video on that where it talked about some people will be humbled and basically kind of come down off of their as some people want to say, their thrones. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is some people were, it's almost like they were being made to come down off the high horse that they were on. And I say that with no judgment to no one. And the other thing was people feeling depressed. And then I also did and I also did a video too. I think this one was tied into the depression one. It was. So I just noticed the common theme that was here, and all of this was leading up to Mother's Day weekend. This revelation just kind of came to me as I looked at what I was writing down. It just seemed like it was a common theme. It was all leading up to Mother's Day weekend. And I truly believe from the messages that I received that at least the forgiveness one anyway, and the other ones leading up to it. So basically what had came to me is I want you guys to know and understand, this is not the message that I received last night, this morning, but I'll get into that in a minute. But I just kind of want to elaborate on the other messages kind of coming together and meshing like right on into Mother's Day weekend. Some of you guys have to realize, I know some of you guys been dealing with situation with relationship with people, whether it be your friends, whether it be, the family members, whether it be, co-workers, or just mutual acquaintances or associates, whatever you want to call it. And I think I did this on the video with depression, when some people was experiencing depression, and I saw that some of their friends, associates, friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it, I saw that even they, maybe at some point in time, they were able to pacify some of your wounds in a sense, but now it's to the point that they no longer can do that, and it's not satisfying to you guys. So that was just a sum that kind of what came to me this morning, like that is no longer satisfying for you, or it's no longer satisfying. Like those things, it's like no matter what they do, it doesn't even resonate with you anymore in a sense. It doesn't trigger you. It doesn't give you that high maybe that you thought you had before, being codependent on their energy. And I saw that you weren't even moved by their energy anymore, should I say. It's almost like their energy is no longer resonating with you. But that goes back into what I said, that, you can't take everybody with you, because the divine spirit of light is almost like divine spirit of light is causing you to feel a certain type of way. It's like disconnecting your emotions and your feelings to those things that once had you been codependent on. And it's almost like now it's like a cutting off, almost like divine spirit of light is cutting off that type of energy, and it no longer resonates with you anymore, if that makes sense to you. And the other thing was the music. In the description box below, I'm actually going to put a couple of songs down there. Another thing that came to me too, you guys should be mindful. Be mindful, because that was tied into the depression video, and it talked about music in there. Be mindful of the music that you listen to. Be mindful of the music that you take in, because that stuff really takes a toll like on your soul. And it's almost like you feed that energy, and when you feed that energy, it's almost like thought becomes things, and then you start to act those things out. So I'm only saying this because it's Mother's Day weekend, and I'm just, again, collaborating on the past the theme pattern that I noticed was taking place within the last week. Be mindful and try to listen to music that is, okay. You heard that thing again, right? I just talked about this the other day. Little synchronicities from the universe. Thank you, Spirit. Anyway, just be mindful of the music that you take in. What you take in is what you'll become. If you listen to music that degrades women, and I'm only saying that because it's Mother's Day weekend. If you listen to music that's degrading to women, it's almost like you take on that same type of energy. I know for me, years ago, and I want to say, like, when I say years ago, I mean like when my son was small. He's about to turn 30, and and I remember when he was younger, I tried to be mindful of the music that was being played around him, because I realized, I didn't even realize it at that time, but I just knew I didn't want certain music playing around him, because I guess I just didn't want, I don't know what it was, because sometimes I do things and I say things and I don't know why I say them, but it's almost like I'm being led by a higher power. We all are in a sense, but some of us just maybe don't even recognize it. But yeah, so I've always tried to be mindful of what my kids listen to, should I say, because I realize that it has a huge impact on, their behavior. And okay, let me move right along. So yeah, again, I'm gonna put a couple of songs in the description box below, and maybe this Mother's Day weekend, for you guys who might have had strained relationships with your mom, or if you may, you're kind of a little distance from your mom right now due to whatever reason that you're distanced from, something that kind of triggered you, maybe from your childhood, or and sometimes some of you guys may not even know that it's from your childhood, things that may have happened, and you just realize that there's something with you right now that has you feeling a certain way towards your mom. Let me say this, because I too had at once upon a time, I was kind of clashing with my mom at one point too, just to kind of, I don't want you guys to think that I am, like, I come with no issues, because trust me, I had to work on these issues too. At one point in time, I was constantly targeting my mom in the sense like, oh, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that, in regards to my childhood. I felt like this, I felt like that, and you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and so on and so on. So, it was almost like a badgering, but it's almost like Divine Spirit of Light wanted me, he was showing me why I was feeling this way towards me, because I always knew that there was something and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then Divine Spirit of Light started showing me stuff from my past and allowed me to see why I was feeling a certain type of way. And it's almost like I had to realize that, balance that energy, but not to feel a certain way towards my mom because of things that was being done. But at the same time, bringing it forward, it's almost like, okay, I'm gonna show you that you need to fix this. Okay, so now that you know that you need to fix this, now you need to do that. It's okay. You're feeling, it's almost like God was showing me that you were feeling this way for this reason, and the reason why you was feeling this way was because of this issue. So I sat in that feeling for a little bit and I let it marinate, but then God was also saying, okay, you can't stay there too long, because now that you recognize what the problem is, now you need to get to the extent of you got to balance that out, because the truth of the matter is she's still your mom. So I felt a certain type of way. Just to be really quick, I felt a certain type of way, but to bring it home, it's almost like doing a whole 360 in regards to my mom, because like I said, at one point in time, we clashed. Yeah, we clashed. Well, I felt like I clashed, should I say. I can't speak for her. I felt like I clashed at one point in time, and I just, again, didn't know why. But now it's like, it's slowly but surely like healing itself, and I'm in a much better place than what I was before, rather than pointing the finger and, targeting. Because the truth of the matter is, I realized my mom, and let me just take a minute and honor her real quick, because I know when I honor her, I'm also honoring God by doing that. When I look back over my life, let me say this, thank you, because I really didn't even know where this conversation was going. Divine Spirit Light gave it to me earlier, but I totally forgot about it until now. I want you guys to understand, I come from a single family home, should I say. My dad wasn't there in my life. I I talked to him 2 times in my life, just to, kind of collaborate a little bit. But I remember the first time I spoke to him, he had actually asked me if I needed anything. The first time I spoke to him, I was a teenager. I was somewhere around the age of 12 or 13 or something like that. Well, he asked me if I needed anything. What teenager says that they don't need anything? So I gave him a list of the things that, I thought I wanted at the time. And I guess for me, it was more so of asking because it was more like a test to see if he was going to pass the test in a sense. But, weeks went past. I never received the things that, he had asked me what I needed. And I thought that was going to be the turn of our relationship for us, me getting to actually know him. I've never seen him in my life, but he did reach out to me twice. But anyway, with all that being said, so the second time is when I was pregnant with my last child. He actually reached out to me and he asked me for forgiveness. And at that point in time, I was like, well, I have to forgive him. Why? Because it's not like he's been in my life anyway. And if he's just asking for forgiveness, let me allow him to move on and let me move on as well too. So he asked for forgiveness and I, forgave him for him not being there and so on and so on. And because I realized that if I didn't forgive him, again, it was only affecting me. But anyway, so I hadn't heard from him since then. But like I said, I talked to him twice in my life. But anyway, so this is not about him, but I just want to say I'm thankful for him being a teacher to me, because actually with him not being in my life, it allowed me to see certain things that I needed to see in regards to men, should I say. And to see certain things that I needed to see with men. But anyway, let me move on. So what I wanted to say was, I want to take this moment and I just want to honor my mother. And I wanted to say, we haven't always had the best relationship, but one thing I would say about my mom is a kind-hearted person. She really is. And I realize, and this is the conclusion that I have come to, I realized that my mom worked very hard. My mom worked 2 jobs growing up. When I was growing up, me and my sister was what you call like latchkey kids in a sense. We was at home by ourselves while mom was working. But then there was times when my mom used to be a security guard that, we would go to work with her. She had a van, and there was times where this is when you had the portable TVs you can plug up into cigarette lighters. Well, because she was at a security guard and a security desk, her car was right there near the security desk. So we would be in the van at the time that had, cushioned seats. And, the way the van was designed, it was like this little flat, it's like a flat bed in the back part that was kind of transformed into like a bed for us to kind of lay down on and watch TV while she was working. So, when I look back on that stuff and things that my mom have did, and even though, I may have felt like, I didn't get enough hugs as a kid, or I wasn't told enough that I love you as a kid, all those things. And it's okay, because I realized that my mom had actually went through some stuff herself with her mom, because she actually lost her mom when she was a teenager. So, think about the things that she didn't get from that teenager on up. Therefore, she wasn't able to give me certain things when I was growing up, because she didn't get it herself. So once you guys take the time out to understand that sometimes single moms out here, I'm gonna say single moms and I'm gonna say single dads, we sacrifice a lot of things. And the reason why I say that is because we if you think about it, that's a lot of load to be on one person. So for any person to endure having to raise kids on their own without maybe a dad being present, like physically present in the home, and everything is required to be on your back, especially when kids are going through their own teenage phase of, when teenagers start to go through their own phases of oh God, why am I just like drawing a blank right now? When they start going through the hormonal changes, thank you, Spirit. When they start going through the hormonal changes and stuff, think about that. And then moms, depending on what age they are, moms be going through their hormonal changes, if they're in the premenopausal stage, or if they're going through menopause or whatever. That's a lot of load to be carrying on one person. So I say all that to say, whatever your experience was, in your childhood, sometimes you have to really look deep and say to yourself, like, although your parents may not have given you what you want or what you needed at that time, is because you have to realize they themselves didn't have what they needed. So it's almost like hurt people hurting other people in a sense, but they're not intentionally hurting you. They was just probably they did their best, and they only doing what they know and what they thought they was doing to be correct at that time. So with all that being said, guys, I just want you to know and understand, if you guys are having any type of quarrels with your mom or, your dad or whatever, you really got to let that stuff go. And I say that to say because, you'll have more peace in your life. And this is leading up to the actual dream that I actually had. The message I received this morning. The prophetic dream message that I received this morning. But I want you guys to understand and just remember the things that, take yourself and put yourself in other people's shoes. If the shoes were on the other foot, and if they stepped out of their shoes, and if you stepped into their shoes, you'd be like, you probably wouldn't even last a day. Let me just say that. Some of you probably wouldn't even last a day. You probably wouldn't even know what to do. But I say all that to say that you guys have to remember one thing, that you would not be here if it wasn't for your mother. Yes, your dad helped in that process too, but your mom is the one that carried you for the 9 months that she carried you, or for however long that she carried you, and out of that, I think that deserves a whole lot of respect. So, if you guys are just feeling a certain type of way about your mom, just reach out to your mom and just say, you know what, Mom, I know I didn't have the best childhood, but I still love you. If you can at least start by doing that, you will be liberating yourself in the process. Okay, you will liberate yourself in the process. And, maybe at that point in time, because I know for me, let me say this real quick. I know for me, it was kind of funny, but it wasn't really funny, if I could just be honest for a minute. And this is to the moms. This is to the moms out here. Okay, so what I want to say also too, like, I realize that as a parent, sometimes we can be a little hard on our kids, a little too hard on our kids, to the point that, because I know I'm not in the same headspace I am now that I was back then, but there was once upon a time too that I actually did, discipline my kids or whatever. That's not something that I did on the regular. So what I'm saying is, if my kids did something, I literally spanked my kids or whatever the case may be. And it's almost like now that I look at it, it's almost like it was harsh when I think about it, because I actually realized this, and I actually told my oldest son, we had a long conversation one year when we was driving down to the beach, and I was telling him, and I was also telling my two other kids while we were driving down, and I had to apologize to them for certain things growing up. Certain behaviors growing up, maybe certain things that I knew that I thought was the way to handle certain things. And you know what? I had to be the bigger person. I had no problem at all with apologizing to them, because I didn't want him to repeat the same cycle with his son. At the time, I didn't want him to repeat the same cycle with his son at the time, but I also mentioned this in a prior video too, that, half of the times that we spank our kids or whatever, we usually do that because, if you ask me, just my personal opinion, I believe all of that is tied back to slavery. And again, it was just something that was being brought forth during every generation, that we thought it was okay to do in order to tame our kids and to keep them in line. No, but we have to be better. We have to do better, because the truth of the matter is, you don't want your kids to experience the same traumatic experience that you yourself is dealing with right now, that you're trying to heal from emotional wounds. That's enough. If you think about it, it's like, it's like abuse in a sense. Like abuse in a sense. I'm not saying that you don't love your kids, but if you think about it, it is like abuse. And again, I'm not judging anybody, because I too was once there, but I had to also apologize to my brother as well too. I had to also apologize to him too. So what I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to make is, okay, everybody has their own part. What I'm trying to say, moms may have had their own part, kids, adult kids now have their own part in the process, you know. But what I'm trying to say, and this is geared to the moms, don't ever be too, or moms, dads, whoever, if you are someone who have spanked your children, let me just say that don't be too prideful to just realize that mentality wasn't necessarily a healthy mentality. And I know some of you, because I feel like I'm hearing somebody say, well, you don't know what kind of kids I got. And the point of the matter is, you know, maybe you just need to redirect your kids' behavior. Or sometimes you need to engage kids in certain activities, open kids up to new experiences. And sometimes that help them to kind of like tame their energy in a sense. But, you know, it's not up to us as adults. Yes, we should talk to our children and we should guide them in the way that we should go. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, trust in the Lord with all, no, hold on. Oh, excuse me. Train up a child in the way that they should go, so when they're older, they won't depart from it. So again, us as adults, what kids see us do, they would do. It can't be do as I say and not as I do. You have to lead by an example. And I'm not sitting here saying anything that I have not had to do myself. So I say all that to say that I had to reach out to those people and apologize to those people, my kids and all, you know, the ones who I might have, you know, because I look back on it with my experience growing up as an adult now. I look back on, I was like, you know, dang. But I don't want those same individuals to have to feel, you know, that sort of trauma in a sense, because mine was more so of pinching. You know, I would pinch the kids or whatever the case may be. But anyway, so yeah, I had to apologize to my kids as well as, you know, my brother and them in the process or whatever, because again, at the time we actually owned the daycare center, so it's like our kids, it's like they were, sometimes, you know how they say that they were the worst. It's not that they were the worst. It's just that they felt like it was free range. So we had a business at the time, and me and my mom started a childcare business, you know, and it's like, it was like throughout the building, at the time, it was my oldest son, my brother, and my niece. It was the three of them, and they was just always all over the place, like, you know, and I didn't necessarily want them to be running in and out of the classrooms like, you know, like they was running the place, but I guess they kind of felt like they ran the place in a sense. But, you know, because if they did it, they thought that the other kids were going to think that it was okay. But anyway, that's no excuse and no justification or whatever the case may be. The point of the matter is, the point I'm trying to make is, be the bigger person and learn to just say, I'm sorry. You know, that could also help heal some wounds as well, too, because sometimes people just want to hear, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. And some people don't even know how to have that conversation. But as an adult, if you can just learn to say, I'm sorry, you just don't know how much difference that would make in somebody's life with just apologizing about, you know, something that maybe you may have done that have probably caused somebody else some type of trauma. But anyway, guys, let me get right into this message, because I'm about to go honor my mom in a process. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna show you these cinnamon buns I got my daughter to make for Mother's Day. We're gonna take some over to my mom's, and then she saved us some for later. So I'm gonna let you see the cinnamon buns before I get into the message real quick. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. So if y'all looking for some good cinnamon buns, I'm telling you, yama, and they are so good, and they're all not vegetarian, they're all organic. She used all organic ingredients. So now we about to have some bon appetit. Look at all that. The cream is just laid on it, and guess what? You ain't got to pay for no extra cream like Cinnabon does. It's already on there. But anyway, no offense to Cinnabon, but her buns are really good. Her red velvet cakes are really good. I got to give kudos to my daughter, because she actually stepped up to the cake. She actually knew she wanted to bake when she was younger, but then she kind of stepped away from it because she felt like she was in the kitchen too much. But she came back to it, and when she came back to it, oh, she really did her stuff. I'll say this. I have not tasted, besides Cheesecake Factory, I have never tasted a red velvet cake in this Virginia, Maryland, DC, Virginia area. The last time I tasted a real red velvet cake that was homemade was down in Eastman, Georgia, and I was every bit of 3 or 4 years old. So that's the last time I really taste a homemade Southern red velvet cake. But here in this DMV area, Cheesecake Factory was the next best thing to Eastman, Georgia when I grew up. And before I grew up there for about a year on a farm. But anyway, and then when she decided she was going to make a red velvet cake, I was like, oh shit, okay. So tasting her cake, I was like, oh my God, girl. So anyway, but let me get back into the message, guys. So the message that I had was, some of you will experience peace in your life because, and Divine Spirit of Light was bringing to my attention, like some of you have had complicated natal charts. That's basically all your placements in your astrology charts, your different 12 houses or whatever. Some of you have had complicated natal charts and things that you had to experience in the process. But God basically said that, hold on. Oh, okay. So God basically said that you guys had to experience, you have experienced a very complicated natal chart, but I guess in the end, because I saw the word peace. The word peace was like down over here on the left side of the corner in the dream, and I had saw like two other people, and then there was another energy that was there, but I knew the energy that it was, but it wasn't an actual person. So basically God was just basically saying that some of you are about to experience some peace in your life because you had to go through something that was so traumatic, something that was so complicated, something that, a lot of things that you had to endure, but just know that those things you had to endure because it had to cause you to, it's almost like it was causing you to mature in life. So, but anyway, with all that being said, guys, I will leave some mama songs in the description box below. If you guys, decide that you want to take a minute and just honor your mom. And sometimes, I know for me, you have to listen. For me, this worked for me. Sometimes you have to listen to that music that kind of feeds your spirit, not the one that's tearing it down or causing you to, go backwards. You're trying to go forward, not backwards. But a lot of times I listen to music that lifts me up and feeds my energy in order to me, because it's almost like you have to change the way you think, and in order to change the way you think, you honestly, it's almost like you have to feed that type of energy. So you almost have to feed that energy until it actually lines up with it. So again, I will put some songs in the description box below, some that I like to listen to. So if you guys want to listen to it, feel free to check it out. But I am also going to add another one in there too. This one is Tasha's Cobb. It's like a 30-minute session, like a church session or whatever. But trust me, it's more singing than anything. And I'm telling you, if you hear her song, oh my God, it just like, it breaks the chains. I had to, at one point in time in my life, I listened to it every now and then, but at one point in time, I had to tell myself, I'm breaking these chains. I'm breaking these chains. I'm breaking these chains. That's why if you guys notice on my channel, it says healing generational, healing generational karmas or healing generational curses. One of the two. But anyway, because, that's what I'm all about. Just trying to help inspire people. My thing is to share my story so I can help inspire other people, hoping that they would want to change the dynamics in, their family. But anyway, so I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and just remember that peace is on the way for those who know they have done the work. And remember, again, to judge not unless you too be judged. So the thing is, what's important is whatever you didn't receive from your parents or whatever, so just be the parent that your parents weren't. That's what I always say. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and happy Mother's Day to the single dads out there who's doing it. Kudos go to you too. So just remember to put yourself in other people's shoes and just ask yourself for a day, if I was to switch shoes with this individual, would I be able to make it through the day, or would I be able to make it? So yeah, keep that in mind. I think if the whole world would just ask that question of themselves with other people, whatever situation that they're dealing with, You know, because, yeah, anybody can be a mom and anybody can be a dad, but it takes real mature and people being knowing how to be empathetic towards other people. That's what helps to bring the change into the world. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a beautiful Mother's Day. Oh, thank you, Spirit. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you this too, because when you don't heal the relationship, or when you find yourself at odds with your own mom, don't expect to get into a relationship and think that it's going to work, because that's not how I was going to do. Thank you, Lord. Because the reason that is because you can't go and try to have a relationship with somebody else when you haven't even tried to heal the relationship with the one person who has brought you here into this world. You know, it's almost like, okay, well, you don't matter, let me go, honor this person. It doesn't work like that. So I was, kind of felt like I was being told, like, until you learn to honor your mom, wherever she may be at, I'm sorry, but I know some parents might have been on drugs or alcohol or, whatever the case may be. And sometimes people chose to cope with things a different way. You never know what they may have had to experience, but and some of you probably saying that they don't deserve honor or whatever. But, truth of the matter is, even if somebody is, I don't want to go too deep with the conversation, but yeah. So again, just remember that everyone matters, okay? Everyone, no matter what they did, because again, you don't know their experiences. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a beautiful day again for the third time, and I'm going to get off now. So again, check the description box below if you like to hear those songs, and just let them marinate into your spirit and your soul and your heart. And yeah, okay. So I'm getting ready to go honor my mom, and you guys have a great and a beautiful day. Bye.